We all spend hours on social media, but how can you start doing that in a way that will actually benefit you and help you create more content for yourself to build your personal brand? You see, there's a specific way where you can start to spend your time on social media to your advantage and make it productive. And in this video, I'm going to break down an easy structure you can start to implement right now to give you better content ideas, strategies, and structure. So let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is go from someone who is consuming content to then someone who is intentionally curating content. What do I mean by that? When you're scrolling on social media, whether it be YouTube or any other social media platform, as you're watching the content, you want to start to save ideas that you have, that you see, that would be interesting for you to maybe make for yourself, put your own spin on it, or has gone viral, and you know that you can repeat that formula. Start saving those content pieces into a collection. Let me show you what I mean by this. So as you're scrolling, you're going to find a video that you like. Now, once you do that, instead of just enjoying it and scrolling away, you're going to want to go and save that video into a collection, whether it be on this platform or any other platform. Now, in that saved area, you're going to want to have different types of collections. You can have something from content inspiration. You can have things like viral pieces. I have one, for example, that is business advice. And then you can have a fourth, a fifth, however many you want. Keep it probably to around 3 or 4, and then put them essentially into content buckets. So now when you're scrolling on social media and you see a video that you like and you watch it, you will save it. From the save, you'll put it into the relevant content bucket. So the next step to doing this is when you go on your laptop and you've got some time to actually work, you're going to go back to those collections. You're going to take the ones that you like to then go into your note taker of choice. For example, with me, I use Notion. I'll go into my collections tab. I'll find the content pieces I really like and I want to work on right now, and I'll start to plan my content. So then from the content buckets that we have here, you're going to now go into planning in your note taker and actually structuring the content in a way that can repeat that formula but still be your own unique spin. Now, once you're planning that content piece, you're going to want to very carefully study things like the hook, the storytelling that was done in that video and why it kept people engaged, and also you're going to want to study what their CTA was. Did they have a call to action? Did they have somewhere they wanted to send their audience after watching that piece of content? Those 3 areas are going to be very important when you're studying a specific content piece. Most of them will have these 3 areas. They're going to definitely have a hook because that is how you're going to obviously get attention. The storytelling is going to be the thing that is essentially going to be taking the people on the journey to watch the whole video. And then once they do that, they're going to have a very clear CTA, whether it be to a lead magnet, to subscribe to their email list, or a product that they're selling. Study these 3 areas because this is how you're going to be able to implement it yourself. But create your own type of hook or use something similar that the video did well with. Figure out what your storytelling formula is going to be for this content idea, and then what's your call to action. What are you going to get your audience to be taking as the next step if they enjoyed your content? Now, this could be simple. It could be something as simple as subscribing to your channel. It doesn't have to be anything complex just yet if you don't have anything that you're sending them to take as a next step. So now you've gone from consuming the video to then saving it to a specific collection. And then from there, you're going to start planning the content, studying the hook, the storytelling format, and what their call to actions were. These are going to be your steps to start productively consuming your content. But there's a few areas I want you to focus on after you've done all of these steps. You see, what many people do is they will just repeat the same content idea and do it very similar to what it was that they saw from someone else. But that's not working anymore. In a world where AI content is becoming so common, no one wants to start to see similar content. They want to see something that is unique to you, but you can take a working formula. So what you're going to have to do is put your authentic touch on that content piece. This is so important because moving forward with content, what's going to separate the average from the people who are doing really well is how authentic they're being. Now, with being authentic, it comes with a few different areas. One of them is just simply showing your personality, which sounds simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people fail to do this. And the second thing is going to be to take a side. What do I mean by this? Don't be someone who's a fence sitter. If you're someone who sits on the fence and you're trying to please two sides to a certain opinion, no one is going to relate to you and no one is going to be behind you cheering you on. So don't be afraid to take a side, because the brands that are going to do well moving forward are the ones that are going to be clear in what they stand for and the side that they're on. Don't be afraid to share your opinion. So what you want to do is take the hook, the storytelling and the CTA, but make it authentic to you. Put your own touch on it by showing your personality. What do you like? A few jokes if you want to drop them here and there, if you are that type of person. Your confidence, the way you speak, and take a side. If you have an opinion on something, share it. Show a contrarian view if it is the correct thing that you strongly believe in. Don't just be a person who's going with the flow and agreeing with everyone, even if you don't truly agree with that. The personal brands that are going to do well and they're going to stand out from everyone else are the ones that do these few things. Now, I want you to make note of this. You are going to beat your competition through authenticity. So this is going to be what you're going to always remember. You're going to beat your competition through being authentic. You see, what's happening now is AI is raising the baseline for content standards. Back in the days, you could say, here are 10 tips to do XYZ, and that would usually do well if it was of benefit to someone. But now no one wants to see, here are 5 ways to do this, or here are 5 hacks to do that. Why? Because they can now get that information from AI. What's working is providing value in a way that's authentic to you, and it shows your personality. So that's going to make you stand out from the crowd, and that's how you're going to beat your competition, because everyone else is going to go to ChatGPT, they're going to ask it to give them 10 tips to do X, and they're going to just use that in their video. But it's not going to be enough anymore to stand out from the crowd. So now that you have all of these steps, I'm going to break down the structure you need to think about once you go from idea to posting the video. So the first thing is you're going to have your idea. This is where you're going to save things to your collection. You're going to go to your note taker, start planning your content, make it authentic to you. That's going to be your first step once you've got everything else we just went through. That's your idea. The second thing you need to think about is, are you going to be doing it with speed, or are you going to be focusing on depth? What do I mean by that? If you're going to be posting a content piece that is about speed, that needs to come out right now, an example would be if you're talking about something that has recently happened and you're essentially reporting on it, that's going to be a content idea that's about speed. You need to get it out as soon as possible so it can be you talking about something that is relevant. The second direction is depth. Now, this is something that's going to be a bit more evergreen. If it's going to be about a topic that would still be relevant in a few months' time or in a year's time, that's going to be something where you can focus on the depth of the topic, break down statistics, break down patterns of behavior, the psychology of consumers, which will take a little bit more research for you to do. However, this will be more relevant for a longer amount of time. So you're going to need to decide, am I going to be doing a video based on something that needs to be done with speed? Or is it going to be something that's going to be with depth? Once you've decided out of these two, you're now going to have to figure out what is going to be your structure. Now, this is pretty much going to be what's your content type. Is it going to be talking head video? Is it going to be tutorial based where you're actually going to walk through showing people how to do something? Is it going to be something with a green screen where you're going to show the relevant articles or break down a video or a post of someone and then go through it that way? The structure of your content is going to be the way you deliver it to your audience. And a lot of different ways work. You need to find the one that is best suited to you. What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy just sitting down talking to the camera? Do you enjoy sharing your screen and then going through a breakdown tutorial? Or do you like to use relevant posts and articles and then kind of going through them that way? Pick whatever works for you, experiment with different styles, and they're going to be the structure of your content. So to bring this all together, let's go through it. You're going to see a video on social media, you're going to save it and then save it to the relevant collection, whether it's content inspiration, viral pieces, business advice. From there, you're going to go to your laptop, to your note taker of choice, and you're going to break down what the hook was, what was the storytelling structure, and what's the CTA. After you've done all of that and you've gathered all that information, you're going to think about what is going to be the way you're going to show your authenticity to this style of content. How are you going to show your personality, and how are you going to pick a side and what opinion you're going to share from this specific video. And like I said, you will beat your competition because you're going to be authentic. Now, the actual video itself, you're going to have that idea that you've just planned. You're going to pick it, whether it's speed or whether it's going to be depth. And then you're going to figure out what structure you're going to be doing for that content. If you do all of this, you will now start to consume content in a way you haven't before. You will now look at you scrolling on social media as a way we're going to start gathering ideas, thinking about new things and new styles for yourself, all different types of ways of how you're going to build your personal brand. That's what I'm doing right now. Every time I'm scrolling on social media, I'm excited to figure out new ways of me to experiment with content to see what's going to work, what my audience is going to like, and how I'm going to be able to grow my personal brand by strategically using the time I spend on social media to get inspiration. Trust me, not many people are doing it this way. People are doom scrolling and then wasting their time. But if you start to do this with more mindfulness and more intention of you trying to now curate your new content pieces based on what you're seeing and what you're consuming, you're going to start to see content differently. You're going to start to think about it in ways you haven't before, and you're never going to run out of ideas on what you need to create content on. And you can start doing this right now. Once you finish watching this video and you go on your phone to scroll social media, start to implement this process. If you want a nice, clean, structured map of what I just went through, there'll be a link in the description below. You can click on that. You can save it for yourself and use it as a reference point so you know the exact steps you need to take in order to use this plan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.